What happened frickin' here? Wow. Alright, this video is going to be short because the 4K camera I brought, even though I thought I was charging it all night long, because it was plugged in for like 4 days straight, doesn't have a charge. I can't understand that. So I hope it's not broken. Anyway, so I'm dealing with my my 2K camera, which has motion problems. Though it'll be easier to upload it because I won't have to recompile it. Unfortunately, now I have to use the video, so I have to aim it. All right. So anyway, it is Saturday, September 9th, and it is a gorgeous morning. This morning it was like perfect garage selling weather. Garage sales were horrible, but it was 72 degrees this morning. Right now it's about 90 degrees. It's almost 12:15. It's still gorgeous out for it being early September. It's still gorgeous. So I thought I'd go for a bicycle ride and record it, but I guess I only got one camera going. That's the problem with these cameras. I mean, it was charging for 2 days straight, and normally 1 day straight would do it, because normally when I after a Saturday garage selling and bicycling on Fort Myers Beach, my cameras are pretty much drained, and it just takes me 1 day to recharge them. And I have a high-speed, it was on a high-speed charger too last night, which is even more insane. I'm just hoping, or wondering if the high-speed charger somehow got unplugged. This camera did take a little fall, so I'm still trying to turn it on right now, but that's a darn thing. It's not coming on at all, like it's dead. So I'll try to charge it again tonight, and I'll try to make a little tiny video. If it doesn't come on, I guess I'm down to one camera, my cell phone. The sad thing is I went to a garage sale today. They had two Samsung S6s. So they're old cameras, but still they're compact and small. And because they're smaller than the camera that I have, and of course they're just a camera, not a cell phone as well, there's less vulnerability, less exposure to the elements, and I could mount 2 or 3 of them together. I could make like a recording forward and backwards. But anyway, so we're just gonna do a little bit of bicycling on the beach. We're gonna go down the beach and we're gonna come back. It looks like it's high tide though, so I'm gonna take a look down here and see if it is high tide. So it's just gonna be a quick beach video. There's no premise for the bicycle ride today. I don't even think of one now that this camera's not working. The premise is bring a camera to the beach that works. So I tested my 2K. My 2K obviously is working. I skipped a lot of garage sales this morning. I mean, there was about 35 on the list. I skipped about 10 of them. Not that I skipped them, but 8 of them just didn't happen, and the other 2 were just out, kind of like away from the rest of the sale. So I just crossed them off mentally because I don't want to go, like on a 3-mile excursion for one sale. All right, so the property medic is building a nice quality house there. You can see that's how he makes his money: buys property, improves it, and then sells it, make a profit. So I'm looking at the water right now. It doesn't look as high as it could be. Here's a canal over here. Let me look at the canal. Here's from that angle. I mean, it is relatively high, but it's not high. I still can't see it. Up here there's no visibility. Yeah, it's high, but it could be higher. It looks like the tide is coming in too. So, Fort Myers Beach was really quiet getting onto the beach today. Almost as if people are watching the women's US Open tennis. I didn't think there was that much support. I see another home was knocked down over there. One or two homes. Still got this one other home with a sheriff's car parked in front of that one. Needs to come down. I mean, it'd be worth more when the home is knocked down, the property. These properties are going between $2 and $5 million each. Possibly more too if it has a better view. So it doesn't matter whether you have a $400,000 structure on it. The property is worth more. So easily knock down that property. This person who bought this house, this orange house here, did a lot of repairs. And they really improved this house. I'm pretty impressed. The amount of effort they put into it. I thought that house was an honor. So technically the last free weekend to go in Sanibel is tomorrow. However, the Sanibel City has extended the free for like another 3 weekends. But make this thing a little steel here. The job, it looks though one of the weekends, not this weekend, but next weekend, I think both Saturday and Sunday are free. I may just go on Sanibel for both those weekends. I have to do a proper beach video, but I need to find out what the low tide is on Sanibel, because high tide, bicycling through all those seashells is not good on my tire, and it's something I don't really want to do. I like here in Fort Myers Beach that there are a lot of great shells, but there's still areas where it's devoid of shells. So I have peace of mind bicycling on nice soft sand. The water's pretty calm. There's not really a breeze. I mean, there is a little oscillation, but it's not like horizontal. It's more of a vertical oscillation. So we might be in a convergence zone area where air is just coming up or down, not sideways. So I don't see anything per se that's changed. It looks like they've either painted or are in the process of painting the bathrooms. Looks pretty nice. There's a lot of seagulls out here, so somebody fed them. It's just disappointing. I don't have my 4K camera. So that's the thing. You press the 4K camera once, twice, 3 times. After that, it's just silly. If it didn't come on since then, it's not going to come on. Still biking. Still biking. Still biking. This beach is huge. There's a little inlet here. It would appear it's low tide, but it's not. In fact, I don't even know if I want to risk going across that. Let's see how far down it goes. It's kind of hard to pedal on this, so this is kind of like one. There's one of those netted clubs. Hello? He's lying in the shade. He's really enjoying himself. So again, the pink shell looks good. This right on the left here at that hotel, they're still fixing the roof on it. It looks like they have one of those netted orange fences around that area, so preventing people from going into that pool. The next complex Looks like they're still working on that one too, because they have a fence around it. A lot of seagulls around here, so they've been fed. And these things, I mean, these things don't look scrawny, so, you know. You pretty much know. These seagulls are really smart. Now, the main pool of the pink shell is crowded. We have waterfalls going. Let's see if the bridge is being used. So there's a bridge over the pool too. A lot of people are waiting, drinking, just having a good time on the deck. So definitely, this is definitely a nice place. And again, coming to the beach was really quiet. There was almost no traffic in both directions. So people are either at the beach already or they're just enjoying themselves wherever they are. And I heard a live band over here playing. So I'm wondering if that's a one-piece live band I hear. Looks like the tide was going out. Because the tide looks like it was higher, and now it's going out. And because the seaweed is not acting like a barrier, I mean, it's hard to say at this point, but... Alright, so, on the beach here. Shift down a little bit. Now, shelling right now in this area is horrible. There's just broken common shells and some scallops, nothing really worth picking up. Unless you want to make a scallop, which are like a lamp, clear glass lamp of scallop shells. Maybe Florida art shells. It seems to be the predominant seashell on the ground. It's a tragedy my 4K camera is not working. I think it did take a little per point off the desk, but I didn't think anything of it. So I shook it a couple times. It didn't seem to be. I plugged it back in. The light came on for it to charge, but it didn't hit the ground hard. There was like wires there. It landed on top of some soft wires. I didn't think it hit anything. So far bicycling on the beach has been pretty nice. And bicycling, the sand is kind of soft here, so I think this is high tide. So that may have been an extreme high tide to the right here, because it hasn't rained on the beach either. Hello. Any of these beachfront properties, you're a millionaire, minimum. Some of these properties are going for tens of millions. But there seems to be a cap, though. Once they reach 10 million, it seems to plateau out. Even these big structures here, they hardly go above 20 million for the whole building, even with all the units. So there is a cap. When I say that, you know, people are going to ask the moon, but they're not going to get it. Hello. Coming up on the left is the hotel, the Best Western Plus. I'd love to make it to a casino. Again, it doesn't have all the attributes of a casino. Actually, the Fort Myers Beach Library would make a better casino. All right, I just heard the tuba coming up. So the tuba guys walking on the beach. Again, if you pose for a picture with him, it's $5. So I guess he makes more than like $20 an hour walking on the beach. Wow, what a life, salt life. Playing his tuba, walking on the beach, and making $20 an hour. Nice. Maybe more, who knows? Look, if he played a better song, maybe he'd make more money. mowed my lawn last night. I did it like within 30 minutes. Amazing. I did a pretty good job too. I didn't trim it though. So that's one thing I have to do when I get home. They're pointing at the smiley face on the paraglider, on the parachute. There's a smiley face on the parachute to the right. The beach is not really crowded per se. It's hard to say whether it's even moderate. It's on the medium to low side. I would say it's more medium than low though. A lot of guys here at the beach that have no shame and they're showing their pot bellies. You're not supposed to do that. You come to the beach, you're not supposed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner before you come to the beach. There's the tube we got there. Oh my God, there's a big inlet up there. I may have to bypass this inlet. Even the guy with the ice cream, he doesn't know how to see straight ahead. The guy with the ice cream, he was walking over the bridge with that. He came from the Citgo station, that ice cream guy. So yeah, they're wondering how to get across that inlet. Me too, because I don't know how deep the inlet is. This being low tide, who knows how deep it is. I don't even see wave action there, which is an indication it's deep. It's probably at least a foot, if not 2 feet deep. So yeah, I don't want to risk it. I'm going to bail up here. It's about 2 feet. That's no fun to get here. I gotta get past this end. Alright, close. No cigar. Alright, so you have Yo Taco. They moved to this new location, but they're doing half as much business, which is sad. But then again, for future, this is the future. Now, Palaka's location is still available, but of course they want $4 million for it. And these places on the right of me, forget it. They want something absurd for that piece of beach sand. Being on the beach, you have to. They painted the West Coast Surf Shop elevator tower. They did a nice job on it. Road here. Might as well do a little road trip. Go down to still the surf club here is available, but of course $7.9 million. Wow. Good luck on that one. I mean, that's way too much. For a destroyed piece of real estate that at this point needs to be knocked down. There's no saving that. It would cost more to hire the structural engineer to do a review on it than it would to build a brand new thing from scratch. Barbecue is open. They moved the fences away. It doesn't look like it's helping. Again, there's not that many people here at the beach today. It's just a very mundane day. I wonder if Sanibel is open. I doubt it, but that would explain it. This tuna skin, look what they did to this building. Look how nice it is. See, they painted it white. Just about ready to put the railings in, put some outer light Like I said, there used to be doorways here on the ground floor. There's no doorways down here, which is kind of sad because they used to rent on the ground floor like that too. So now it's like one big, I guess, interior office or something, but they did a great job here. So that's where Yo Taco used to be, across the street. It's not there anymore, it's just a pile of bricks. They should reclaim that area and make it into a parking lot. But without that business there, I mean, I would love to open up a little tiny, not 7-Eleven, but any type of beverage. You know, that's what they need. They need cheap beverages, cheap ice cream. Either shaved ice slash sherbet slash ice cream slash drinks. Yeah, and they should also sell wine and beer. So this parking lot, they're charging $20 over there, $15. I've seen some $10 parking. So I don't see these lots too full. So the only thing about this time is that this is the weekend after Labor Day, and a lot of northern states start school after Labor Day. That's the only explanation I could say, that a lot of the summertime residents here were northerners who were families, and they were waiting for, to go back to school. And this is the week where they had to drive back up north, take their campers and everybody with them. So, which is good. I mean, it's good for the residents here. It's not really good for the businesses here, but it's good for the residents who want peace of mind and peace and quiet. I mean, with cool temperatures like they are this morning, that's indicative of a really cold winter we're going to have this year. Even here in Florida, it could get down to 32 degrees here in Fort Myers. Now across the street is Kia Stero Shopping Center. I see about 12 cars parked over there, charging $10 a day, so maybe $120, not too bad. This little beach bar here, let's see what they got going on. See 4 people sitting down, so they're nursing a beer, so beers are $4 each, so 4 times 4 is 16. It's not too bad, I guess. Not so good either. See, across the street they have a copper roof. I'd love to make the second floor into a casino, the first floor into a flea market, 24/7, open like from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, and the casino open 24/7. And it would have to be a members only. So you have to be a member, and it would be an arcade casino, which they don't pay out in dollars, they pay out in token, whether it be cryptocurrency or token or whatever. Alright, so they knocked down one building on the left-hand side there. They're clearing piles on the right-hand side. You see it over there, and they still got some piles to go. And then they want $2.5 million on that building right there. That's ridiculous, that blue building. I mean, you can paint it as blue as you want. If you don't paint the whole thing and fix all the problems with it, you're not going to get $2.4 million for that property. People are pushing it, though. Hello. I mean, people must call. They'll sit like that forever. There's not that much commercial property here on Fort Myers Beach still standing. But there is a lot of open land commercial property. And that's what destroyed buildings have to go into competition with. So you need to understand that. So, Tri-Power really, they got the best. They got both these 2 buildings close together, both survive. See, Armando's daycare on the left-hand side, that's gone. Here, the friends though, they take pretty much any listings at any price, but they haven't fixed up their own building. So they told me they're going to sell their building here for $20 million. So not just this building, it goes all the way to the beach. So all this land, this building and behind. See, people are oh, they're parking over here, but I can see that's it's $5 per hour parking. They own they own that piece of real estate, I think, at the front of the beach, as well as all this real estate here. There's no way they can rebuild that building. I've seen too many structural problems on the outside, which means all the electrical is questionable, which means that wooden building, when they rip out the electrical, forget it. Now that building on the left-hand side over there, I like it. It's been boarded up. Air conditioning is on the roof. The air conditioning may have survived. I just like how it's raised up a little bit. I like how the air conditioning is on the roof. I just ran over a whole pod of sand spurs. Wow, that was stupid. Hold on. I'm gonna inspect my tire now. I didn't realize it was sand spurs because you would expect that they would. Oh, here's one. You expect that they would maintain the sidewalks and cut the grass, but they don't. Rear tire too. I have gel tires, so it shouldn't matter. All right, I see no problem. I could get Kevlar outer tires. That would be. The problem with Kevlar tires is that they're very slippery. You go into a turn, you have to make sure that you have nice, nice threaded, belted, whatever you want to call them, nice thread designs on the tires so that they grip the road good. Yeah, they want $1 million for that beach connection. Good luck. You'd be better off, for the extra $1 million or whatever they're going to charge you to buy this church over here, because this main assembly area could easily be made into a Hawaiian casino. I got this casino on the brain. I could make that into an open air casino with a 24/7 luau going on, because the design of the building looks like a big tiki. So just fix the roof up a little bit. Have it's all open in the middle. You can make a big chimney in the middle. This is on the left-hand side. This is the old Fort Myers Beach town center, destroyed. I like that. I wish it would never come back. And then they want to build a town hall over here, the old Winn-Dixie Tops shopping center plaza, where I see no need for it, because straight ahead on the left-hand side there's the Fort Myers Beach Library that nobody cares about, knows about, and even wants. They don't even want to pay tax dollars for that. But that survived, so Fort Myers Beach town should go into that. It just makes sense. But town council are all criminals. They don't adhere to common sense. But that's where they should go and say, forget about the library. Nobody uses it anyway. Nobody cares about it. There's nobody here. Nobody lives here anymore. Nobody wants it. It's old. You have your own internet. You have internet on your cell phone. You don't need a library. You look up the stuff on your cell phone. The library is just to soak up the free air conditioning and suck the taxpayers dry. That's all that was all about. All right, so I see they're breaking ground where the school is. It looks like they're getting ready to either they're making concrete on site or they're getting ready to pour a foundation. So that's the old Fort Myers Beach park, or whatever you want to call it. So again, the library on the left-hand side. Nothing's happening here. Yeah, I'm not going to make a long video because I can't believe that my 4K camera is not recording. Unbelievable. So the tide clock is saying it's more towards low tide than it is high tide. Not all the way down low. And it looks like the tide is raising up to mid tide. So it looks like it's going towards mid tide. Again, the people on the left hand side, Surfside Casual, sad. They spent all that time and money trying to renovate this thing. Then the hurricane came and they just bought this before Hurricane Ian, I'm talking about. Hurricane Idalia did pump some sand on the road here, but that was about it. Some areas they got that sand up, other areas they haven't done anything. we're just going to go down here to the radio tower and go out on the beach. That's usually the start of the good seashell area. I just want to see if that's true, if there's still more seashells. We may go down a little bit more just to, I don't know. I was thinking about going all the way down to Public, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Still, the tide is not low. I may have to fight some seaweed and some other obstacles on the beach. So here's the Lee County Command Center. They really want this land to be donated to Lee County, I bet you. So they could build a police substation here. All they really want to do is sit back and watch people bathe sunbathe on the beach. It's terrible. Now this is the restaurant Fresh Catch. Fresh Catch is a chain restaurant, so you know. Looks like there's someone advertising from Digital Global Public Adjuster. The door's open. There's a ladder up there. I don't see evidence of real work going on. Most of the people are up there just hanging out, looking at the beach. I don't know. So we're passing the old Fort Myers Beach Fire Department. Again, no work has been done to restore it or anything, just sitting there. People have been working on Gulf Wind, putting down some new roofs, but it looks like they're not working today. They were working last Saturday, but not working today. Again, the 7-Eleven here, just sitting idle with a fence around it. It's got 3 of those presidential Ford black, Tahoe vehicles, whatever they are. And the ones that usually Trump rides around in. They're just sitting over here, hanging out. Here's the tank coming up on the right-hand side. It's been sitting here for the last year. I don't know what's going on with this. Can't be a good sign. They don't move it at all. I mean, he doesn't drive it. It's got rubber tracks, which is pretty interesting. So you could drive it on this road, but he hasn't done so. Again, any land here on the beach, this stuff is selling like hotcakes, and people will sell or finance because it's raw land. But improved land, forget it. They don't want to. For all the insurance that's required, and everything else, they don't sell or finance. You have to come up with your own financing. Alright, so yeah, I feel like the bicycle ride. I can see Publix that's coming up. Okay, we'll try to go down to Publix and come back to the beach. We'll see what happens. Up here's the church that got knocked down. I brought 2 frozen water bottles in my car. They're going to tide me over. This blue house here, I would love to buy it, but I mean, it's been exposed 12 months, and during the whole time of the rainy season. So it's got mildew and gunk. I mean, you got to tear the building down. There's no way to save that. They should have saved the roof when they could have. But they were lazy, or were incapacitated, or too cheap to spend a little bit of money. They easily have gotten a FEMA small business loan. I mean, come on. This when you have real estate here on the water side, on the right-hand side, you know, and it's still standing, but has a little bit of roof problems. You want to save that equity, because by destroying the building, you're down to, okay, you might be able to get $4 million. You might. But to get a building permit to build a building on that lot is going to take you enough hassle that may take you 6 months. And if you think you want to buy and flip, then like this church, they did like 95% of the roof, but they just didn't do the rest. And it's been sitting like that for 4 months now. So I'm not saying that it's, but so they didn't do enough. Still compromised. I mean, 95% of the structure has been saved, but the other 5% could cause the entire structure to be compromised. have to fix the roof first. When you come into a disaster area, the first thing you fix is the roof. I don't care if you live in the desert where it doesn't rain. The first thing you fix is the roof. Then you fix all the walls, the exterior walls. Make sure the exterior is done, doors and windows are in. Then you make sure the air conditioning is working. You got electricity and the air conditioning is working. Then if you want to work on the rest of the stuff, obviously you have to have a circuit breaker box that works. Obviously, the air conditioner can plug into it. Otherwise, some of these people that are fixing their own homes up, more power to them. But I know how long it takes to do a job, and I'm telling you, I'm a programmer. But for me to do non-programming stuff, which I'm good at doing, but I'm meticulous. I take my time. Not that I want to take my time, but because that's how I like to. I don't really like to do that. That's just how it comes to be. Let's put it that way. When you have to analyze something, you have a question in your mind. You don't want to do it wrong. You have to stop. You have to look it up on the internet. It takes time to do all that. I just got back from the auto repair shop. They did a great job at fixing my glass, but then they positioned my wipers wrong. 30% off kilter. I mean, that's significant. I mean, yeah, I could have went online, studied it, wasted 2 hours, got there with my rotten tools and done it. But I'm like, hey, you got the tools expertise. I told the dealership, Safe Light it was. I said, look, you guys have to fix it. Now they were very accommodating. Don't get me wrong. But and it only took them about 20 minutes. In fact, I was in the middle of getting a coffee from them, but their coffee machine wasn't working. It had to perk, and it wasn't working, and so he gave me my keys before my coffee was done. So I had to walk out without any coffee, which is terrible. That's what I hold against them. I hold them against the coffee that they still owe me. Now, I had a 2 o'clock appointment, but I went in there at 11, and nobody had ordered coffee before me. Now, this whole area stinks. I'm talking about cow manure plus anything else you could think of. This is the area that they were raking up all the seaweed from the beach, and they dropped it here, and it stinks. Oh, it stinks like rotting seaweed. Oh man. It's a good thing you can't smell that. Okay, now the smell's going away, but in that open lot on the left-hand side, that's where the smell was emanating from. All right, so this is Publix here. We're gonna go on the beach right here. See how far we can bicycle. Probably not too far. So there's a little barricade here. Then when people drive in here, park nice on the beach, which is sad because it's a nice place to park. I'm running out of. There is the berm here was wiped out to the most part, which is good because I hated that darn thing. It looks like we're not going to get above this. No. So, Adalia pretty much wiped out the berm, but there is a little break wall here, but it just pushed the sand up over the break wall. Now this part of the beach looks like Adalia could have taken some away. But they are scooping. It looks like they are scraping the beach. I'm not sure if it's for seaweed or just sand they could dump over there. Possibly bury the seaweed, because that's normally how you get rid of it. Just dig a big hole in the beach, you bury the seaweed. See, these fighting conchs are all over the place. You can just pick them up. You can see, it's gorgeous. It's easier to find them here than on Sanibel. And it looks like this is like a medium to low tide. So that means the beach would actually come higher. Okay, I'll hold this one seashell, give it to someone. I don't see any, I'm looking towards where the waves are breaking. There is a lot of seaweed in there. I see there's a sandbar about 40 yards out. And it looks like there's something like 3 yards out, like emerging sandbar that's emerging onto the beach. But there's a lot of seaweed out there. Even the seagulls are pecking at it. I guess they're hungry. It looks like a piece of chicken. I can remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, going to Bailey's. Even the Beehive used to have a good batter fried chicken recipe. And it was cheap back in those days. Like it was $1 a pound to get chicken, and the chicken was excellent because they would use a honey beer, some honey beer and Sprite or something. I don't know. They would mix it all together. It would taste awesome. And they would take real breadcrumbs and some cornmeal and mix it all together and slap it on the chicken and baste it 2 times and deep fry it. It was awesome. But we used to throw sometimes the skin and sometimes the bones. And I'm telling you, the seagulls, well, the seagulls would come within an inch of me. 50 of them trying to fly within an inch of me. I mean, I was surrounded by flying seagulls. They were not scared of me. They were like, chicken, chicken, chicken. I loved it. It's like people are sunning way up there, so which means that the tide is going out. You don't see the seaweed bunched up as a big terminal moraine on the beach, so the tide is still going out from that indicator. You would see the waves would push the seaweed up into a big terminal marine if the tide was coming in. And I don't see that. And because people are up there sunning, means that the Gulf has taken back some of the beach, moved it into offshore sandbars. Now down by Pink Shell, the beach is awesome, but up here, it looks like Idalia did rearrange sands some offshore, and some of the big beach that it had here from Ian is gone. So we're coming back to Mid-Island. This is where I was finding the good seashells. The offshore pump I don't see happening. Look. Let's throw this guy a seashell. Here you go, here's a seashell. It's a nice one. Oh, there's a little tiny inlet here. I'm going to go slow over because I don't know how. Sometimes you can go over these I guess you call that an outlet, I guess. Sometimes it's muddy because when the tide flows over a certain area, if there was like a gap, and the gap, I almost ran over one of those extremely sharp pen shells. I saw, though, this. Was it worth turning around? No. It was a broken tulip shell. See, it's broken on the bottom. Oh well. Yeah, it's night versus day. Last week, you could have had buckets upon buckets upon buckets upon buckets of awesome seashells. This week, nothing. Just that one. It's probably the seashelling is better down towards Santini Plaza. That's probably where it moved, which is sad. Now this is, and just as I say that, here's a, I guess this is a fighting conch. King's Crown and fighting conchs always get mixed up. So that's not too bad actually. And then this is a nice one here. So I got 2 of them. They're both dead, they have no feet inside of them. Again, I'll hold on to them, I'll give them to someone. If I see anyone. I see, in this area, I see the evidence that in the surf, there's a lot of good seashells. When you see an area like this that's really flat and has no gradient, that's when you're gonna find a lot of good seashells. I'm seeing a lot more fighting conchs here. King's crowns are more flatter. They're more flatter crown. These fighting conchs are a little more See, there's a full heart cockle shell we just passed over. Wow, now that was soft. That was like quicksand. I'm amazed we got through that. Wow. That one, when I drove over that sand, the tire went down at least 3 inches. Both tires. But I had enough momentum to bridge it. So the gap may have only been about 5 or 6 inches wide, and because the tire at 3-inch sinking in was able to span both sides of the gap, I was able to clear it. Otherwise, I would have gone over. The front tire would have sunk, and my bicycle would have flipped 360 degrees, or at least 180. Well, these people up here are shelling. Let's see if I give it to them. Actually, they're kind of far away. Let me wait for people that are close by. There was evidence of an angel wing again. If you find 2 angel wings, they fit kind of together, then old tale is you're allowed to make a wish. So if I see another one up here, and it looks like they fit, I get the right and left side. I mean, you can't just get 2 right sides and 2 left sides. You have to get a right and left side. Then you get to make a wish. I saw what looked like either a crab or a Junonia, probably a crab. Now this area is really low. This almost resembles a low tide, like a mudflat. Now, what I'm seeing what appears like the good shells got buried in the beach. So it could be that oh wow, that is the case here. Okay, so this area is full of good shells, just that the shells are buried in the beach. So at high tide, these shells will be exposed again. And they only got buried in the beach because the tide was retreating so fast, they got sucked into the beach. So again, that's like a fighting conch or king crown, I don't know which one it is. But it's a nice one compared to the bigger ones I have here, but this one's more polished. This one, let me see if it has, sometimes they have feet in there, like they're still alive. This one's just encased with crud. But I thought for a second there it was you see, they're all over the place. I can look down and pick up king's crowns all over the place. But right in this area, it's quicksand. My feet are just sinking in. So just these tires are staying afloat, which is amazing. So yeah, at high tide, when the tide comes in, it will, I just saw what appeared to be a shark's eye, but I'm not going to pick it up unless it was something like fantastic. And there's a big fighting conch just went over. Shells normally don't go, you see these ribs here, these sand ribs, like here. Yeah, this is a really low tide. Shells really don't go below this zone here. It's hard for them to penetrate it. So this is it's an old one though, like an ancient, a couple 100 million years old maybe. Tossing that back. Here's an angel wing. But again, I need to have 2 sides of it. It's a very delicate shell, it will break. But if I found 2 of them, you can make a wish. And hopefully your wishes come true. See, there's an apple murex shell. I see a lace murex. I don't know why I have a hard time bicycling right now. Still a lot of fighting conchs all over the place. I mean, okay, in this area you could, okay, I'm hitting quicksand again. All right. So this must be dredge material that they just pumped out of the sea and it's ending up on the beach, because I can't understand why this sand would be so soft, unless it's just recently dredged stuff. Oh yeah, I'm sinking. I went down about 2 inches there. So these seashells could be from the dredging too. They could be pumping seashells out. This is a big lace murex right here. So I see a pear whelk down there too. It's a little broken here. There's a little break in it. But you can see what the lace murex looks like. I'm throwing it back. This is the left-handed whelk. I guess it's left-handed whelk. Yeah. It's actually a nice one. Let's see, left-handed whelk. So I guess I am accumulating some shells. And the shells are getting really right next to the radio tower, which is where they were pumping the sand offshore last weekend. The dredging has stopped, so a lot of these seashells must be from that dredging area. It'll take one more high tide and low tide for this sand to be hardened. It'll mix with some other sand and then form that concrete sand that's necessary for the beach sand. It has to be exposed to the sun, so the sun will oxidize it and give it what it needs to make that concrete. So yeah, that's the area to seashell. And even up here I'm seeing that a lot of shells are buried a little bit. So there was an active high tide to do all this churning of the beach. You want some seashells? Oh, I can't hold them all.
Thank you.
Mostly are fighting conchs. This is an angel wing right here.
Thank you so much.
Here's a nice one here for you. You see, is it broken? Yeah, a little bit. I know. And only in this area. Last week, it was a little farther down, but there were thousands of them. But I can see that the good seashells are buried right now at high tide. Like, see that? That's a good seashell. That's a pear whelk.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, that was a big pear whelk shell. Plus, I got rid of all the seashells I was holding. So yeah, right around the radio tower here, which is where they were dredging. I see the dredges have stopped, so it's kind of weird though. They were dredging, but I see less beach. What happened to the beach? We just passed over a shark's eye, a really nice one. Not that big, but big enough that it's still impressive. This is amazing. Look at this. Oh. Oh, it's got a little bit aged. It's got a little bit of wear down here, and I only like perfect shells. So we'll just toss it. Someone else will find it. Normally, if a shell is alive, it's up out of the water because the muscle inside of it doesn't like to live in sand per se. It likes to be able to move on top of the sand. And it knows that if it gets buried in the beach, that could kill it if it can't move on top of the sand. So it could be weeks or months for sands to move. So most mussels try to keep themselves on top of the sand, not buried at all. Even though maybe during this tidal area, they understand that they can live 12 hours without, being buried and, just getting the air that they need from the water or whatever. But for the most part, if a seashell gets buried, then they're doomed. They'll die. And eventually, a week or two later, the stink from them, the seagulls will be attracted to them, and they'll peck the heck out of it. Or the ants will find them if they wash up on the beach. So we're passing Fresh Catch, which is also the old Junkaroo. Some people are parking here for free, getting away with it. They're not enforcing the parking restrictions that are here. And it looks like some of the beach was taken away. There wasn't a storm at all. I guess there's some offshore currents that are changing. Okay, now this I have to go back for. It's too big to ignore. Too big to ignore. From a distance, this looks like a huge. Okay, it looks like a clamshell from up close. Let's see if I'm right. Oh yeah, this is one of those traditional clamshells. It's a nice clamshell, but nothing to keep or anything. But yeah, if you're making like a shell craft or something, these things are cool. You can make an ashtray out of it. I mean, but just put it on the beach there. Somebody will pick it up. Now, if it came in a tube, like it was a fan, then I'd probably keep it because that would be rare. But a single one like that, it's rare to see a big one like that in such beautiful condition and beautiful colors. Yes, normally they would be just white if you found those that size at all. But it looked like a huge tulip shell. Like a tulip shell is about 12 inches long, 6 inches wide. And I was like, no, that can't be. So anyway, I was tempted to turn it over to see if my suspicions were right or wrong. And I was wrong. Again, lots of heart cockles, lots of fighting tongues. I've seen a lot of shells in this area too. So. Some of these seagulls are playing chicken. So it looks like the ones that don't fly away, they win. So they're playing a game amongst themselves. They want to see who's the most bravest seagull. And the seagulls that don't fly away are the ones that win. So there was one seagull there, raised its wings, just stood there on the beach, didn't fly. I passed by and he lowered his wings. And he went back into his cuddling position. It's gorgeous on the beach though. I'm sweating like a dog right now. Must be about 94, 95 degrees here on the beach. I am encountering like a half mile per hour headwind, but I'm going 3 miles an hour, so that's expected. I'm not seeing much in the way of clouds to the left of me. Over Sanibel there's a little bit, but to the right of me, there's not much there either. I just saw a big apple murex shell. It was about 3 inches diameter. Big, but if it was 4 inches, I would have stopped. 3 inches, nah. I need to get bigger seashells in front of my house. 6 inches diameter or bigger definitely helped pick up anything they throw my way. Heart cockle, I'd be 8 inches diameter. Severely huge ones. But you can see that if dredging like this brought this amount of seashells to shore, snorkeling or light scuba diving offshore here, there must be billions of seashells offshore. Trillions maybe. There must be sanctuary seashell beds stretching on for 50 miles off Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach. Here's Diamond Head coming up. That's it right there. So, again, it's kind of like a somber, really sleepy Saturday morning. People are just taking it easy today. I guess they went back up north. The families went back up north. And just the locals or the people that, who could afford to take off, or the people that just don't want to deal with the Democrat nonsense going on in the criminally controlled Democrat states. Got a little smorgasbord going on the beach there. It was really nice. Hello. Sometimes, I want to say hello to everyone. Sometimes my mind's adrift. I'm thinking about things. And the people initiate hello, which is rare. I usually the one that initiates it, so they were waving at me, so I said hello back. Alright, so this area of the beach, we lost a little. I could see a huge sandbar. It's about 200 yards offshore here. That's a big one. And that one that's 200 yards offshore is about 40 yards wide. So it's a big one. And up here, the sandbar is only 150 yards offshore, but it's about 150 yards wide. Almost as if a new island is going to be developing up here. Like Fort Myers Estero Island is going to grow outwards. Because that will deter wave action if all that sand is accumulated out there. And sand will just all of a sudden start piling up. And that will eventually crest over at high tide. And then, bingo, you're going to have an estuary form over here, the backwater. The beach is still wide in this area. It just shows that this area is, I wouldn't say transient, but it revolves in cycles. So you have beach accretion and beach erosion. So you got honeymooners here on the beach. See, the boats still congregate to the most part in front of Lanakai. Yeah, I don't see that many people on the beach, which is nice. It was hard for me to get a parking spot though, free parking spot that is. There was two left where I was parked, and one of them was a nice spot, so I took that one. The other one was pretty tight. I didn't want to take that one. A lot of people are, you can tell they're locals because they bring their own beer and liquor to the beach. And there's the ice cream guy selling ice cream. Personally, I would put the prices on the outside of the ice cream trolley, whatever you want to call it, because you'd sell more. People expect the worst. They expect like $20 of ice cream. Well, they're not even about to ask. But if you were to put the price there, you'd sell a lot more. Same thing with real estate, to tell you the truth. I mean, if you don't put the price there, people know how slow realtors get back to people. Not that they want to, they're just too slow. And there's too much difficulty in getting a contract. Realtors seem to be kind of like, stymied in a way. They kind of stymie the process. In relaying information back to the owner. I mean, obviously, if you say I want to pay asking price, then I guess the associate will get back to you immediately. But I just made an offer. The associate didn't tell me the owner would take less or more than the asking price. But I haven't heard word from that realtor in 2 weeks. Sad, but it's the way it is. We're back here at Margaritaville. It's pretty fast. Again, it's somewhere between low and mid tide. So this is nice biking. So the same time on Sanibel should be low tide. Yeah, so this is it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna end it up here. Well, I'll go back to my car. I'm not gonna go through this big inlet that just formed up there. This inlet will fill in by next week. Next week, the tides and such will just take the sand and dump it right here. Probably the issue is that I see the sandbar has moved about 500 yards offshore here. 400 or 500 yards offshore. I just want to drive up this estuary and see how deep it is from this angle. I saw from the other side, but I didn't see from this side. Again, I could probably drive through the water. And if we're lucky, we might be able to squeeze through up here. We'll try. Made it through. Right. That was unexpected. I didn't think I could make it through. I thought it was going to be like mud, and I'd put my foot down, and I'm not wearing my surf workers right now, so this side of the beach is expanding a little bit, so it's definitely regular longshore current taking the sand from north to south. So because of this, the old pier is acting like surf breakers. It's causing the sand to pile up here and taking it from that side. Wow, we're having a war of the tents with the music. I can't understand which song is winning, but there's about 12 people under each tent and they're blasting the music. If I was camping on the beach, I would want a nice quiet area. I don't even want to hear that. I just want to hear the birds, the surf. I don't mind the boats per se, but I would want an area where I could lie in peace and almost under a nice tent with no sun hitting me, lie back and on a chair and just, oh my God, just enjoy the moment, almost like sleep. That's as far as I'm going to cut it here. Alright, I could probably have biced a little bit farther. I was hitting some soft sand, so I decided to dismount. See this property here? The roof needs to be done. And the ground floor places here, still some of the windows are knocked out, haven't been fixed. But the at least 9 condos above that floor are perfectly fine. So I'm surprised they don't rent them all out. There could be an opportunity for a real estate company to come in here and just do real estate management and just manage those condos. That would help out the beach a lot if they had extra residents who could pump additional money into the beach while they're living here. I mean, everyone would make out. You would have, they'd be utilizing obviously electricity, water, food, and medical services. They'd be looking for land to buy themselves. So yeah, it could be a win-win if the real estate companies could, if they wanted to make that extra money to do that real estate management. Oh wow, amazing to me. That sand we just drove over, that's from Hurricane Idalia. Again, they gotta pump it out of the sewers here. So It looks like they haven't made any indication they're going to do that. Oh, bicycle on this side of the road. A little different. It's just that right now, to develop property in Fort Myers Beach, the insurance is so high. Interest rates to lend, to borrow, I should say, whatever, it's just way too high. So it's $10 a day to park here. Only one person chose to park here. And at this hour of the day, forget it. If they don't, it's about 1:30 right now. Forget it. Lynn Hall Park will start. People are going to start exiting, going to lunch, and the afternoon traffic isn't substantial enough. So, true, you have people come around here and you want to eat ice cream and walk and look at the sunset. That's around 5, but people are not going to want to pay for all day. They just want to get an ice cream. If they can't park, they go to Love Boat and pick up ice cream there. Yeah, that structure straight ahead of us, it's interesting. You see the bathroom exposed there. It's made out of steel though, it's tempting, but it's not for sale. You got 3 posts, 2 posts actually, holding up the whole building. Those 2 posts are probably rated for about 7,000 pounds each. The structure that's above them, sorry, I have to weave through here, it's probably about 14,000 pounds. So if they're 6,000 pounds, they're barely holding up the structure above them each. So they're able, 6,000, that's 12,000, 14,000 pounds being held above. So some of that load bearing is going off the other direction. So at least 2,000 pounds of that. Otherwise it would have collapsed already. So 2,000 pounds is being directed towards the other side. If they were to dip or lean at all, then the load would go right down through them and crush the building. You couldn't rebuild something like that. You'd have to put new posts in, like the posts I just made for my house, which are like 16,000 pounds, and that's without putting concrete in. If I put concrete in, it would be 20,000 pounds load bearing. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. It's understandable tomorrow. That was a quick video. Hopefully I'll get my 4K camera working. Alright, until tomorrow.